In a small village surrounded by green fields and quiet hills, there stood an old clock tower. It was not beautiful. Its paint had faded. Its stones were covered with moss. One of its 4 windows was cracked. But there was something special about that clock. For more than 60 years, it had stood in the center of the village, watching generations grow, change, struggle, celebrate, and leave. Every morning, its bell rang 6 times. Dung, dung, dong. And every evening, it rang again. People often complained about it. Why is the clock so old? Why doesn't the village replace it? Why can't we have a bigger and more beautiful tower? Nobody ever asked the clock what it wanted. One rainy evening, the village council decided to replace the old clock. A new tower would be built. It would be taller, brighter, more modern. The villagers were excited. We will finally have something impressive, they said. The old clock heard everything. For the first time in 60 years, it wondered, am I no longer enough? That night the clock stopped. The next morning, the village woke up without its familiar bell. People were confused. The baker arrived late. The school opened late. Farmers lost track of time. The entire village felt strangely disorganized. But nobody realized why. That evening, an elderly woman named Mira walked toward the tower. She had lived in the village her entire life. She placed her hand on the cold stone wall and whispered, "Why did you stop?" The clock could not speak. But Mira smiled as if she already knew the answer. "You think you are not enough anymore, don't you?" The clock remained silent. Mira continued, "I remember when you were new." She laughed softly. "Everyone admired you back then. People gathered around you. Children counted your bells. Travelers used you to know the time." She paused. Then years passed. Your paint faded. Your hands became slower. Your stones became old. And now you think your value disappeared. The clock's hands moved slightly. Mira looked up. "But tell me something. Did you stop telling people the time?" The clock remained still. "Did you stop ringing your bell?" No answer. "Did you stop standing here when people needed you?" Still nothing. Mira smiled. "Then perhaps you have confused being old with being useless." The clock began ticking again. Tick, tick, tick. Mira continued. "That's the problem with people too. They keep looking at what they don't have. They forget to notice what they already have." The next morning, the village council arrived with plans for the new tower. Everyone was discussing height, design, lights, and decorations. But Mira stood quietly beside the old clock. She asked the villagers, "Before you replace this tower, tell me one thing. What exactly is wrong with it?" Someone replied, "It is old." Mira nodded. "Anything else?" Another person said, "It doesn't look impressive anymore." Mira asked, "Does it still tell the time?" "Yes." "Does the bell still work?" "Yes." "Does it still stand in the center of the village?" "Yes." "Then what are we really trying to replace?" Nobody answered. Mira looked around. "We are not replacing a broken clock. We are replacing something simply because we have become dissatisfied with it." The villagers became quiet. Then she said something that stayed in their minds for years. "There is nothing wrong with wanting to improve your life. The problem begins when you believe your life has no value until it becomes better." Everyone looked at the old tower. Mira continued, "You can dream of a bigger house and still be grateful for the roof above your head. You can work for a better future and still appreciate today. You can desire success without believing you are a failure right now. You can want more without making what you already have feel worthless. The village council decided not to destroy the clock. Instead, they repaired it. They cleaned its stones. They fixed the cracked window. They painted its doors. But they did not make it completely new. They kept some of its old marks, because those marks were its history. Years passed. The village became more prosperous. New houses appeared. New roads were built. New shops opened. People still dreamed of bigger things. But whenever someone complained, "I will be happy when I get more money," someone else would point toward the old clock. Whenever someone said, "I will be satisfied when my life becomes perfect," they would hear the familiar bell. Dong, dong, dong. And they would remember. The clock never asked for a taller tower. It never compared itself with newer clocks. It never complained that another tower had brighter lights. It simply continued doing what it was meant to do. Every morning, every evening, every day, it gave the village what it had. It's time. One winter morning, Mira returned to the tower. She was very old now. She sat beneath it and listened to the bell. Then she whispered, "You taught us something beautiful." The clock continued ticking. Mira smiled. Life doesn't become satisfying when we finally get everything we want. It becomes satisfying when we learn to see the value in what we already have. She closed her eyes and listened. The clock kept ticking. Tick, tick, tick. And perhaps that was the greatest lesson of all. Time never stops. So don't spend all of it waiting for a future where everything will finally be perfect. Dream. Grow. Improve. Work hard. Want better things. But while moving toward tomorrow, don't forget to live today. Because sometimes, the life you are desperately trying to escape from is the life someone else is praying to have. And sometimes, satisfaction is not about having more. It is about realizing that what you already have matters. Be ambitious, but don't let ambition steal your gratitude. Improve your life, but don't hate the life you have today. Because true satisfaction begins when you stop saying, "I will be happy when I have more," and start saying, "I am grateful for what I have while I work for what I want."